Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we are sewing up a slouchy tee for a gift for a friend instead of a bag on this channel. So this tee is so cute. I've made several for my daughter. They're so easy to sew up and they're so cute. I think my total recorded video length was like 37 minutes, including taking a break, switching things around. So very quick and easy. Samantha Marie Design has the cutest patterns. I own probably every single pattern she has. They're all so cute and come with really easy to follow instructions, including photos. And here I am using my projector to cut out my pattern pieces. I just cut out a back. You'll need a back, a front. Those are both on the fold, and then there's a neckband, and there are two sleeve options. I am doing the short sleeve version, so I'll need two short sleeve cuffs. There's also a long sleeve option with cuffs as well. I love using a projector for my patterns. It makes cutting so easy, especially in this case when my daughter and our friend I'm sewing for are not the same size. So instead of having to print out another copy of the pattern and cut it out, piece it together with paper, I save time and paper. I just select the size I want to use on the PDF layers and cut that out. Here I am cutting the neckband out, and then we will cut out the cuffs. This fabric is so cute. Unfortunately, it came from Joann's closing liquidation sale, so I probably won't have this again. I made my daughter a hooded long sleeve t-shirt with this, and I had plenty left over. I think I bought several yards when I last went to Joann's. I thought this was just such a cute material, such a cute pattern. Here we go, cutting out the short sleeve cuff. You'll need two of these. Okay, we have our pieces cut out, and I am going to clip the centers of the front and back so that later when we do the neckband, that is already done for us. Makes it quick and easy to line up the neckband evenly. We're going to move over to the serger and start construction. I like to sew in a chain fashion or like a batch fashion. So I'm going to sew the neckband, the cuffs, and then the front and back at the shoulder seams all in one pass, and then I'll just clip the tail apart. So I fold the neckband short ends together, and then I fold it in half, and I do the same with the cuffs. This saves a step later when you will fold it in half. It will already be connected and a little less finicky. So I'll fold those up and I will send those all through batch style, and then we'll sew the shoulder seams together. Okay, we got all of that sewn batch style. This is why it's sometimes called chain stitching too. You see how they're just connected by one giant chain. So I'm going to just clip all of these apart. And there's the neckband. While I'm clipping the neckband and the sleeve cuffs apart, I will also make 2 little snips in those folds right there, because when you unfold this all and turn it into a neckband, that will mark the center. So one center will be the seam right there, and the other center will be where we just made those 2 clips. And I'm going to repeat that for the sleeve cuffs as well. And then we'll come back and attach the neckband. So here we have the front and back attached at the shoulder seams. I am keeping it wrong side out. I'm matching up the seam of the neckband with the center back of the shirt, and then the 2 little notches that I had clipped before in the neckband will line up with the notch in the center front of the shirt. I like to attach my neckband this way. It's easier for me to stitch with the bulk of the shirt laying against my serger and then the neckband on the top, but I know there are many ways to attach the neckband. You do whatever is easiest for you, but this method I feel like prevents me to miss a spot, although I'm pretty sure I do miss a small section and I have to go back and correct that, but it's easier for me to make sure all of my layers are lined up when I do it this way. To tuck the end of that tail, I'm going to use a little knit picker tool. It's basically like a tiny mini latch hook. Just slide it through, grab that tail, close the latch, and pull it through. And that secures the tail. Here, I'm checking to make sure I didn't miss a spot, and I'm pretty sure I did. Oh, sad. I did. So I'm just going to send that small section of the neckband back through my serger, and then I'll tuck both of those tails and move on to sewing the side seams. Now that the side seams are all sewn up, I'm going to attach the sleeve cuffs. So the centers of the shirt are already marked by the shoulder seam and the side seam. And then I'm going to match up the cuff seam with the side seam of the shirt, so it will be like the underarm, and then the notches cut on the other side of the sleeve cuff will match with the shoulder seam on the shirt. So I am going to do that for both sleeve cuffs, attach them in the same manner, and then we will move over to the sewing machine to tack down the sleeve cuffs. Because this shirt has a cute feature, the cuffs are longer and meant to be rolled up, but you do want to tack them so they don't unroll throughout the day, or as your child wears them. So I will meet you back at the sewing machine. Okay, now that we have those attached, I'm going to turn this right side out so I can cuff the sleeves. I'm going to fold the finished sleeve edge to meet the seam where we attached it and line up the shoulder seam and the underarm seam and the cuff seam. I'm going to put pins in at that seam, and then I'll flip it around and put a pin in at the shoulder seam to hold that in place so that I can go to the sewing machine and tack it down. We're just going to tack it with a couple stitches on the sleeve. Try to get in the ditch of those seams so it's less noticeable, and we'll go off of the sleeve cuff, do a couple stitches into the body of the shirt, back stitch a few times, and repeat that 4 times, twice for each cuff. And then we'll go to the cover stitch and finish up by laying the neckline down with a cover stitch, which is totally optional. You could top stitch the neckline, the neck seam down on the neckband with a stretch stitch on your sewing machine if you don't have a cover stitch, or you don't have to do it at all, and it would look totally fine. And then we'll hem the shirt with a cover stitch, which you could also use a stretch stitch on your sewing machine as well. And here's our finished shirt. It's so cute, so easy, so quick to make. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will put links in the description box for the pattern. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And I hope you make one for someone in your life. Bye.